We need this game, they need this game, but who's gonna want it the most? Who's gonna be the hottest? Who's gonna be red hot? Who's gonna be seen with the heat? That's us, baby.
Good afternoon here from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati.
Broncos on the field, Broncos showed up. We're gonna do what we do best.
Game ready.
Today, the 5-6 Denver Broncos take their act on the road, facing the 5-6 Cincinnati Bengals.
Go hit these boys in the mouth from the get-go, man. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Together on three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
For the first time under head coach Vance Joseph, the Broncos have won 3 games in a row. They improved to 6-6 on the season with a win over the Bengals. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Broncos Film Review. I'm Phil Milani alongside Matt Boyer, Steve Atwater, Ray Crockett. Guys, the team's back to 500. Feels like they got this thing on a roll now.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long time coming. I didn't think I would ever get to say this. We're 500 and be happy about it. But yeah, it's one of those things, man, where once you start to feel good about yourself and your confidence comes back, it becomes easier to go out and play for each individual guy. And this is a game that they had to win. You're supposed to win the winnable games, and they did that. It would have been a shame if it would have been any other way, if we'd have been talking about Driscoll beating us. So I'm glad we're not. But they did what they needed to do, and on the road, it's a special victory.
It's definitely special. The Broncos have been trending in the right direction with the last 2 victories, and to go on the road on the East Coast, hadn't done that in a while, and bring back the dub. That was something special. I think the confidence continues to build. And hey, this could make a nice little run down here down the end.
It's funny because in the locker room, Vance Joseph said to the team afterwards, it wasn't any rah-rah speech, it was just, do what you guys have been doing. That's the message to the team. Keep going 1-0 every week. Keep with that mentality and things will go their way, and they did on Sunday.
The game started with 6 consecutive punts. I guess you could say it was a defensive battle.
Driscoll shotgun snap, 4-man pressure. Driscoll is going to be hit and knocked down. That's Shelby Harris. Harris with the sack back to the Bengals' 16-yard line.
You gotta rock her to sleep, you know. Hey, she might not want to go to bed, but you gotta rock her a little bit, you know. Just worked a quick head fake and hit the other gap and ended up making a play.
Low snap again for Keenum, who goes down to get it. Pressured immediately, throws on the run, pass caught. And this is going to be a big first down inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 20. That is Devontae Booker.
Lindsey breaking the initial tackle, and the rookie strolling into the end zone for the Denver touchdown.
The Broncos went into the locker room with a lead. Philip Lindsay, the only touchdown there right after the 2-minute warning. What did you guys see on this play?
I mean, with Phillip, you have to understand that this guy has exceptional quickness, exceptional vision, and explosion out of this world. It was really a play that we really lucked up into this play, because if you look at it, Connor McGovern got pushed back so far that he actually tripped the guard. The play was supposed to go front side, but because of Philip Lindsay's vision and explosion, he had the ability to jump through the hole and cut back, which was outstanding by him.
Yeah, it really was an amazing play, and I think what also made it work was the wide receivers getting into the mix, getting into the fold there and blocking the linebackers, blocking the safeties, and just making it to where once Philip was able to find that hole, there would be nobody on the second level. Just a great team play.
Yeah, if you think about a pinball game, okay? He uses Billy Turner almost as a bumper in pinball, bounces off of him, takes a moment, and then shoots right through the hole. Like Ray said, I mean, the patience and the vision, it's there for this kid.
Jared Valdir is blocking a guy one way, then starts blocking the other way.
Yeah, and the key is this, too, is that what Steve mentioned. Normally when a player is going front side, there's a tendency for the backside players to kind of lighten up a little bit or not do their job. That's a great example of 11 guys doing their individual jobs all the way to the end, because you never know.
It was a physical game in that first half. We saw several players go down, most notably Chris Harris Jr. week to week now. How are they going to be able to replace his production?
The one thing you don't do, you don't replace a Chris Harris Jr. But what you have to do, you have to scheme better. You know the guys you have, you know what they're capable of. So we're going to do some different schemes, and then there's just not a lot of room for error. So we cannot make mental mistakes like we were doing in the past, because we had someone like Chris. When you miss a guy, an all-pro guy, everyone else has to pick up their individual jobs and play better, and we'll do that.
Yeah, well, we got to make sure, one, that when everybody steps on the field, they know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes when you put new guys in there, things are a little fuzzy, but they got to make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. And then we're going to have to change it up some. We got to play a lot more zone coverage. You can't necessarily play man-to-man all the time when you got new guys in there that don't feel comfortable. Now, if the guys are comfortable enough to be able to disguise it, then you can do it. But if you can't disguise it, you can't play a lot of man-to-man.
Bradley Roby has improved dramatically in these last couple weeks. This is going to be a big test for him down the stretch without Chris Harris Jr. to kind of take on that number 1 role, as well as guys like Brennan Langley and Isaac Yadam. Those guys are also going to be tested as well.
Yeah, next man up philosophy around here. The Broncos got off to a great start in the third quarter, started with a muff punt.
Colby Wadman with a high kick that Alex Erickson is underneath it. He fumbles the football. He's knocked away from the ball. The ball is free, and the Broncos, I think, will have it inside the Bengals 35. They do. Play fake, short drop. Keenum loads it up. Home run ball. He's got Sutton there. Sutton goes up, makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver.
When I lined up, I saw that the guy that was running was like 5'6", so I knew that I was probably going to get a really good chance to make a play. And once the ball was in the air, just like any time, I feel like I got a really good chance to make a play, you know, like 80-20, maybe 90-10.
Driscoll's in trouble, floats one down the field. Ball is intercepted by Justin Simmons inside the Broncos 10. Simmons now heads to the Broncos sideline trying to look for blocks. He's up at the 15-yard line.
We, saw a boot. Both receivers released inside, and then I saw a tight end releasing free up the field. And I think the quarterback was feeling pressure because he kind of just playing on his back foot from what I saw and just launched it up. It was up in the air for so long, and I felt like it was a punt, so I was like, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. It was the only thing I was saying to myself.
They toss it left to Lindsey. Lindsey with behind Garrett Bowles, and Lindsey is loose. Here we go. Fed race 40, 35-30. Philip Lindsey down the sideline. 15-10, 5. Touchdown, Denver. No flags, a run of 65 yards.
And Garrett's out there chasing people down. So, I just follow him. I follow him, I make the right reads, and my job is to make people miss, get to the next level, and use my speed to take it to the house. And that's my job.
O'Driscoll hit by Von Miller, and Miller's got a sack back at the 23-yard line.
Ball's loose. It's ruled a fumble on the field. It's a live football, and Denver has it. Bradley Chubb has recovered. Turnover number 3 by Cincinnati.
So the Broncos get the win 24-10. Let's talk about turning turnovers into points. It started with that Cortland Sutton, a bomb down the right sideline, 30-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays where it's what Cortland Sutton does. This is what he's really good at. The 50-50 ball, the outside release, the man-to-man coverage against a fade route. Now, he's going to have to get good at some other things as well down the road, but he has this perfected, and that's what it was. It was a regular cover 7, which means it was up to Case Keenum to understand the safety has to hold inside. So when he makes sure that tight end or that inside receiver goes down, he knows he's one-on-one. Just throw it up, get a guy shot, and he did, and Cortland made a great play.
Yeah, Cortland made a great play, and with his size and his strength and his speed, he's going to be a problem for anybody, but especially for cornerbacks who aren't that big. And I think the corner may have been 6 feet tall, but Cortland's 6'4" and has great leaping ability and great hands. That's a great play for him. And I think it's going to be a staple for him for years to come.
We didn't hear Emmanuel Sanders' name called a lot in this game, but as Ray mentioned, Sanders was the guy that drew that safety. Keenum spots the safety, hits Cortland over the top. It was a perfect play. I think they're going to want to get Emmanuel more involved down the stretch, but I think that he did a great job drawing that defense to one side, allowing other guys to make plays.
The other big play in the half was a Sanders block that led to Philip Lindsay's big 65-yard touchdown. What did you guys see on that play?
When you have a guy like Philip Lindsay, all I need to do is hold my block a little bit, and if I just do my job, he's going to make something special happen. And the special is you can't catch it. He's 4-3 nothing for real. And it showed on that play, and his ability, Steve, to cut back when he knows other guys who are bigger than he is. You can't get up to full throttle and then stop. He knows he's capable of that, and it all showed up on that play. He's quicker than a hiccup.
The linemen, I think, did a great job of getting out. The receivers, both Cortland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders, did a great job of being physical, getting in there, getting dirty, getting their hands dirty, blocking the safeties and the linebackers and that. And when you have that, we have everybody willing to. Hey, we all put it on the line. Everybody's got to do their job. Good things are going to happen, and Philip Lindsay, again, with that great vision, great speed, was able to take advantage of it. Just like he said, my offensive line told me to follow him, and that's what I did. And Garrett Bowles led him right down the sideline, and Garrett Bowles had a nice kick-out block right there at the end. And
hey, Garrett was chasing people to block.
Yeah.
He was looking them up.
The one thing I wanted to mention about Philip Lindsay, though, in the locker room, Steve, you mentioned the linemen deserve a lot of the credit. And that's what Lindsey did. He got the game ball, wanted it to go straight to the lineman, and I think that just kind of shows the guy he is, the character that he's already developed here early on in his career.
Give Musgrave credit for this. That's an old high school play. Steve, you remember in high school, you played quarterback. My guy is faster than your guys. So I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to say, here's the ball, I run him. So you have to give Musgrave credit for saying that as well, for recognizing that.
Lindsey already has more than 1,000 yards from scrimmage, the 8th Broncos rookie to do that. In the secondary, you hate facing a guy like that, right?
Without a doubt, because you know that if I take a bad angle or if I make one mistake, he's gone. And that's the thing about it, is that we haven't had that. C.J. Anderson and all those guys are great runners, but a home run hitter, that's what's a difference maker is. And we haven't had that in a couple of years, at least since I've been watching.
Yeah, and I remember back from our playing days, a guy that reminded me of was Napoleon Kaufman when we played the Raiders. Yes. And man, if you miss him, he's gone. He's going to get 20, 30 yards, and nobody can catch him. And he's just a great player, great for the organization, and great for his teammates. I love watching this guy play.
The offense got the lead, and then the defense took care of the rest, including Bradley Chubb, who I think has 10 sacks now in the season.
That's a man on a mission. And the one thing I liked about him is the one sack that he made, the strip fumble. There's one thing to get a strip fumble and say, I did my job. It's another thing to get a strip fumble, hit the ground, get up, look for the ball, get the ball, also look to go score. He's a man on a mission. He's like, give me the trifecta. I know I did my job, but now I'm going to do your job and your job as well. So I just like the way right now Joe Woods has made it really clear that he says, I'm not going to put all of this pressure on you to perform. I'm going to let you do what you do best. That's rush the passer, put pressure on the guy, and get strip fumbles.
And they've been, it's been building up to this all season long. When he was first drafted, the 5th pick in the 2018 draft, everybody was high on him. And then, as the season progressed, it wasn't going as fast or as quickly as people wanted it to go. But now, man, he's hitting his stride, and he's looking really good. And he and Von Miller. Who wants to go against those two edge rushers? No one.
I want to talk about the celebration a little bit, because he told Justin Simmons he told Shelby Harris before the game, I got something special planned. Justin Simmons tries to get him to rev the motorcycle, but he's 1, 2. How can I count to 10? Using it all in the end zone. It was a great celebration, and like Steve mentioned, the maturity that Chubb has showed. We talked about it on the radio a couple weeks ago. If Chubb could get to 10 sacks, he's going to be very much in the Defensive Rookie of the Year consideration.
So we wanted to repeat Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, where they had 24.5 sacks. These guys have 22.5 sacks already. Yeah. So I think they did that. I think they did what they wanted to do with this draft pick.
And now they got the 49ers coming up, a very similar opponent without their starting quarterback, heading in the opposite direction.
And you're right, this is another game that we are supposed to win on the schedule. They're down to a backup quarterback. They have a lot of backups playing in other positions as well, and they've gone through some turmoil. So you go on the road and get this game, and that really helps Vance Joseph. If you go back and say he can't win games on the road, to win games back-to-back, that's a big deal for him. So we definitely have to get this win.
Yeah, I agree. And, the San Francisco 49ers, they're going to come out fighting. They did. Once Jimmy Garoppolo, their starting quarterback, went down, they went through a little bit of a slide, but they've come out and played some good games even without their starting quarterback. So we know that they can win football games, and we just can't take anything for granted. I want our players to prepare the same way they prepared these last 3 weeks.
The other head coach on the other side is very accomplished on the offensive side of the football. Kyle Shanahan is a guy that interviewed for this job just a couple of years ago. I think he's going to be very highly motivated to come in, beat the team that his father coached way back when. I think that he's going to definitely bring a couple of wrinkles to the offensive game plan. It should be exciting, but this is a very, very similar matchup, as Ray and Steve just mentioned, to the one that we just saw with Cincinnati. A backup quarterback leading a team that's in a bit of a struggle right now, so hopefully the Broncos can take care of business.
Well, we heard Von Miller say, hey, these last 4 games are going to be the toughest. They look to bring it home here down the stretch. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Ray Crockett, Steve Atwater, Matt Boyer, I am Phil Milani. Thanks for watching the Broncos Film Review.